At 85 years old, David Allan Coe should be just a small part of the past of country music. He came back with something much louder than a goodbye tour, though. He came back with a surprise. One that is so big and bad that it could destroy the Grand Ole Opry's history for good. Coe has finally chosen to speak out after decades of silence, being blacklisted, and whispered warnings from Nashville's elite. In a mysterious interview that was filmed not long ago, he dropped a bombshell that could bring down names, bring old probes back to life, and destroy the Opry's well-kept image that has been built up over 100 years. Why did he really get banned? In the late 1970s, what did he see? Who tried to buy his silence? This isn't just another story about a criminal. This is the last cruel thing a man who never forgot how they erased him can do, and who finally found the proof to show it all. David Allan Coe was just a kid who got lost in the system a long time before he became the most dangerous criminal the country has ever tried to stop. Coe was born in Akron, Ohio, in 1939. Things went badly for him early in life. He was already in reform school when he was 9 years old. He went in and out of youth homes and soon after, full-fledged prisons when he was a teenager. David didn't find a soft place to land in this world. It made him feel like he had to stay alive. The machine pushed him back down every time he tried to stand up, but something began to grow inside those concrete walls. There was a voice, a pen, and a refusal that would never go away. He began writing songs while he was in jail. They were rough, uncensored, and raw. The Polish food wasn't from Nashville. This was jail gospel, making pain sound good. Later he said that he had been on death row for killing another prisoner who tried to attack him, but many people don't believe this. When he finally got out, he wasn't just a man with a criminal record. He was a storm coming into Nashville with a guitar on his back and a grudge against the city. Back in the late 1960s, Coe didn't ask for permission to come to Music City. He lived in his hearse outside of the Ryman Auditorium and dared people to ignore him. At first, they didn't pay attention to him. The songs came next. He wrote the haunting song, "Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone," which Tanya Tucker made a #1 hit. The business world had to pay attention all of a sudden, but they didn't like what they saw. With his long hair, tattoos, lack of filtering and lack of predictability, Coe didn't fit the mold. He wasn't the polished cowboy or the shady bad guy. He was scary, way too dangerous. And while people like Waylon and Willie were praised for pushing the limits, Coe was already going beyond them, and into areas that no one else dared to go. Underground music fans loved his first records because they were honest, fresh, full of anger and beauty. He gained a cult following of bikers, ex-convicts, outcasts, and travelers. His fans didn't buy music, they bought the truth. The establishment saw that fact as a threat. Nashville had set up a way to keep their stars clean and under control. What about David Allan Coe? That deal was never signed by him. He was a bother from the start, and the Opry, they knew it. Many country stars sat around and wished they had record deals and a chance to perform at the Grand Ole Opry. David Allan Coe, on the other hand, did something different, one that was full of rebellion, defiance, and complete freedom. He didn't just make a name for himself without Nashville's help. He built a kingdom right in front of their eyes. Coe came out with a sound that didn't beg to be played on the radio after years in jail and on the streets. It needed to be seen. Penitentiary Blues and Requiem for a Harlequin, two of his early records, didn't sound like anything else on the radio. He made them, and they were rough, trippy, and sometimes scary. He wasn't writing songs for long before they took off. He wrote the song, "Would You Lay With Me in a Field of Stone," which was so personal and powerful that even the big names in music couldn't ignore it. Coe made his first big money when Tanya Tucker made it a #1 hit. He could have used that time to get to know people in the business, but instead he made it even clearer that he was different. He let the strange cowboy in rhinestones and a Lone Ranger mask go, and acting in full rhinestone suits, making fun of the fashion industry's focus on looks, while stealing their fans one beer joint at a time. Next was Long-Haired Redneck, "If That Ain't Country," and then "You Never Even Called Me By My Name." Fans who didn't care what the Opry thought was appropriate liked each song because it made fun of the system and its rules. Coe made music that was both dirty and beautiful. At the same time, it is painful and true, illegal and beautiful. As Waylon Willie and Chris Christopherson were being praised as the new faces of outlaw country, Coe was busy building his own world, away from TV shows and CMA award shows. He did everything on his own, without permission from the Opry or the radio managers. His shows were loud, hard to plan for, and sometimes even dangerous. He didn't just sing, he made people angry. He didn't put on shows, he was a shot to warn. David Allan Coe showed that you didn't have to go to Nashville to sell out shows, be on top of the charts, and live like a star, and that scared them, because if one man could do well without following the rules, when would other people try? That's when the real opposition started. The Grand Ole Opry was seen as holy ground for many years, only for country royalty, who are carefully picked by a mysterious inner group. Just being asked to play, let alone being inducted, was the highest honor for a country act. For David Allan Coe, though, that door was locked from the start. Coe worked as a singer for 60 years and was never asked to perform on the Opry stage, not as a guest or a member. What was the reason? It was never a done deal, but it was loud to speak. Some people said it was his time in jail, others brought up his controversial words, his crazy look, or the Confederate flag that was draped behind him on stage. But people who work inside the Opry, like former producers, radio promoters, and even some old veterans, have begun to share a darker truth. Not only was Coe left out because he was rough around the edges, he was also blackballed, in a quiet, organized way. One person who used to work at the Opry said that Coe met with a key person at the Opry's management office in the late 1970s. The source said that the meeting finished with yelling, broken glass, and a threat. Coe was told that as long as that man was in charge, he would never step foot on the Opry stage. No one knows for sure who that man was, but Coe never forgot. Some people say Coe was too close to an incident that the Opry really wanted to be forgotten. It is said that a rising female star and a married Opry boss are having an affair. According to another story, Coe found financial documents that said people were paid a lot of money to change the charts in the late 1970s. These documents were said to have been destroyed after someone broke into the studio. No matter what the truth was, the outcome was clear. People who worked with Coe were not interested in booking him, and his name was not included in award nominations or in programs. However, his friends were inducted, celebrated, and honored. It was like Coe was a ghost. No matter how many CDs he sold, or hits he wrote, the Opry never gave him a nod. It wasn't just a pass, it was a kill in silence. David Allan Coe is now 85 years old and ready to tell everything. Names, times, and bad business deals. He kept the lies for many years, but now he can't. For Coe, the Opry didn't just leave him out, they turned him into an enemy, and bad guys always come back. Most fans thought that David Allan Coe's absence from the Opry was just another part of his history as an outlaw, but not many knew how big the war was that was going on behind the scenes. Coe wasn't just forgotten, he was intended to be erased. Something changed after his success in the 1970s and 1980s. His songs were no longer played on the radio, award shows didn't include him at all, places that had booked him in the past turned him down for no reason. His name stopped showing up in films about artists whose songs he had written hits for. Insiders in the business say the orders came from very high up. Music industry leaders called him unmanageable. PR companies said he was dangerous. Even bands that he helped in the past wouldn't say his name in public. Why? Because Coe didn't do what was expected of him. He wouldn't say sorry for who he was or what he sang. He made fun of the politics in the business. He dressed however he pleased. He sang what he wanted and told truths that caused strong people to tense up. It became clear what the unsaid rule was in Nashville. Your job might suffer if you work with David Allan Coe, so most people didn't. But Coe wasn't just a criminal name. He went through it, and wouldn't go away quietly. He kept putting out records on his own. He went on tour all the time, and often played to packed biker gatherings, small-town bars, and outlaw festivals that treated him like a king or queen. His group of fans didn't get smaller. It grew in secret, away from the power grid, and very loyal. They didn't listen to country music. They were for life. They knew every song he wrote, every insult he said about the business, and every grudge he held. Even though Coe was put on a blacklist, his power could not be erased. Even though Coe was put on a blacklist, his power could not be erased. Artists looked at his writing in secret. Young writers adored how honest and poetic he was. Every time one of his songs got on the internet, or an illegal playlist, the music business's plan to shut him up fell apart a little more. They didn't want anyone to see him. He became well known. Now that he is 85 years old, David Allan Coe talks about the war they thought they had won. He is calling out the names. The paper path is on fire. The Opry won't be able to hide behind custom this time.